of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, I need an agenda.
Georgia Holmes. Here. Carol Ann Schwarzenbach.
Present.
Kara Hagan. Present. Tim Tesher.
Here.
Krista Spillane. Here. Bob Nelson.
Here.
Skylar Wetzel. Here. Andrea Kramer. Here. Everyone's present.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. Now I need an agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I need a motion for approval of the minutes from July 18th council meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Bills in between? Motion to approve. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Current claims?
Motion to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The newbie's a little behind.
Okay, newbie.
I do have a question on the current claims.
Sure.
Page 3. Second to last item, top hat tinting. Charger window tinting. I recall specifically asking Chief Close if there was anything in addition or additional that would need to be
Can
done.
I encourage you to speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Specifically asked Chief Close if there was anything in addition to the list that he provided us that would need to be done to the Charger, the new police car. So I'm curious why the tinting of the window.
The vehicle that was purchased did not have the windows tinted. The state bid specs for the vehicle had window tinting, but this vehicle was purchased off the lot as opposed to off the state bid site, and the windows were not tinted. There were a few other differences to the vehicle. I'm still waiting to hear back from the dealer we purchased it from to see if we can get reimbursement for the purchase of the tinting. Although some of the other differences increase the value of the vehicle. So after visiting with Mike today, I'm not sure if we'll get that or not, but we are addressing the window tinting. And he did mention that it was absolutely required because the vehicle's black and the interior is black, and without the windows being tinted, things were melting inside the car.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Thank you, Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Wells Fargo credit cards. Once a month, we look at these. Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I will now go to communications from the public. Gregory Simmons, who lives at the Evans Apartments. You're up.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, the situation at the Evans,
I need you to be a rock star and speak right into that mic.
okay. Can I lift it up some?
Yep.
You get her?
Yeah.
There you go.
Testing. Okay, that's better.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, to me, it's very important. And the reason it's important, as long as I've lived here, the Evans has been considered a historic place. And I don't know if you'll agree or disagree, but to me it is. Okay, to me, historic doesn't just mean old, it means precious, it means one of a kind. That includes the building itself and the lawn. So, if you've noticed the Evans, I'm the one that's been doing all the work. I live there, I don't get paid. I represent about 20 tenants there. I'm not representing Hot Springs Housing. And the reason being, if I was comfortable with that, I wouldn't be out there doing all the work. From the trees, the 2 big juniper trees and bushes, the Norwegian pine, the blue spruce, and the lawn, and the flower beds in back, I've done it all. It's a lot of work. My beef is with not all dog owners, some dog owners who are irresponsible. And I believe there's a solution. And I've mentioned it to the mayor. From what I know, that post, and before I came down, the sign has been taken down that says City of Hot Springs. And from what I was told, the City of Hot Springs does not own that property. They work with the Hot Springs Housing Department. So right there is one point in my favor. Number 2, I've been to many cities in the country. I'm from Philadelphia originally. I came here from Denver and lived in Minneapolis, Kansas City. Nowhere have I seen any historic property allow dogs to poop or urinate. And that includes city, state, and federal. Now maybe this is different in Hot Springs, and you people will let me know if it is different. But I believe that the point I'm trying to make is it's important because it involves all citizens here. The beauty of the heavens, which is historic, tourists, when I'm working out there, they take a lot of pictures of it. And I don't believe they want to see dead trees, dead juniper bushes, or dead grass. Some of the grass has died because of lack of care, because of an outdated sprinkler system. And hopefully the new owners, and from what I know, it's being sold. Personally, I'm glad about it. But I think some dog owners need to be educated, especially with female dogs, if they're not neutered, you know, or their urine is very strong. It contains a lot of ammonia, and that will kill grass. And that's what's happening around that post, which is across from the coffee shop. And it's expanding further and further out. And it's even expanding up to the juniper bushes. And this is along they call it the annex area. But I'm the one digging out the dead grass, planting in new grass seed. Most dog owners I've talked to agree with my point of view. And of course, there are some who they have their point of view that because this is pet friendly, that they have a right for their dog to go anywhere they choose. I disagree with that. I call it being irresponsible because they're not helping the looks of the city, they're destroying the looks of the city. And that's what's happening at the Evans building. I'm not going to mention a name, but she felt that way, you know, and so my response to her, well, I have a pet-friendly shovel that can dig up pet-friendly dead grass, and I'll give you some pet-friendly grass seed to plant. And of course, she had no response. So yeah, it's easy for someone else to have a problem, but you don't have the problem, but you're creating it and not really care about that particular problem and the solution. So I'm just saying, I've met many pet owners here that agree with me. And I've met maybe 2 or 3 that don't. They don't want to compromise. They don't want a better solution. They think their dog can poop and pee anywhere it chooses, especially on historic property. So that's my gripe, and hopefully something can be worked out. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gregory.
Thank you for doing all that work. It looks beautiful.
Yes, it does. Okay, Lori Zimian.
Hi, I'm Lori Simeon.
You're definitely going to have to speak closely to the mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better.
A little better?
There.
Better.
Okay. The reason I'm here is Last year, I came in and I asked for a permit for a business, and after you guys approved the permit for the business, I failed to realize that the sign needed to be up in 6 months, and I don't have my sign up yet, and I'm coming in, I'm asking if you would grant me the ability to put my sign up on my business, because after I came in last year, we needed to build a carport, which we wanted to wait until I got the business approved before we put the expense into the carport. And so that's where I'm at now. We've got the carport up, and I've got the sign on order, and so that's where I'm at, and I'm hoping that you guys would grant my request to have the sign put up. And this is for the windshield rock chip repair.
Over there by Dewdrop.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your place. And when you say carport, I guess I drove by and it's like a 2-car garage. Is that what you're talking, the carport, or what are you talking about that?
It's a carport. That's basically what we built.
How many sides are on the building?
It's got 3.
That's one that's got the boats in it now, right?
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Could we hear from Kim Barberry?
Pardon?
I'm here.
Barberry, kind of bring us up to date on this property?
Sure. Okay, it was last year that Lori came before the commission and the council for a use permit on review for a windshield crack business. At the time when you approved it, there was no extra buildings being constructed. They were going to be using the pad that was in the back.
Get closer, Kim.
They were going to be using the pad that was in the back where the carport was built. It's not a residential carport. It would be considered a commercial structure for a business. My concerns are, one, that it wasn't just putting up a sign within 6 months. Our ordinance and the approval permit that I gave clearly stated that you had to have your business open within 6 months for the special use permit or come back for an extension. The second part is that this commercial carport was constructed without permits, and it's within the setbacks. So I'd like to see that if anything happens today to continue the business, that we can relocate that structure to an area where buildings are allowed to be built on that lot. I think, do you have any other questions?
Had you rescinded or whatever her use permit on review? Did we get something about that?
Yes, I went through, whenever I was doing a neighborhood review of the area, saw that a building was there without permits, went back and reviewed everything, and then I summarized the entire thing, and I did send Lori a letter stating that the use permit review had to come before you because it expired, and I advised her to come before the council.
Are we making a decision tonight, or is she just?
It's the choice of the council. It's on the agenda, so you're.
Is there somebody living in that camper?
No one's living in the camper, and because the ladder that she said we couldn't have the camper on the property, we sold the camper. And Scott, the former building inspector, said that when we told him, okay, when we purchased this property in 2012, we were buying commercial property, and Scott Salmonson said, no, it's not commercial, it is residential. So we had to go through the process of getting it turned from residential into mixed. And that was a long, tedious process to get that done. And after that, we went in and sat down and talked with Scott in the office. After we purchased the property, we went in and talked to him, and he said that he spelled it out for us. He told us what we had to do because we've never dealt with a city in this aspect at all. We went in there 3 different times. The first time we went in there, it was one morning we went in, we sat down and talked with him, we told him what we wanted to do. My husband has a carport drawing here, and I don't know if you guys got copies of all that information or not. when we sat down and visited with him, he said he wanted it drawn to scale on the property. So that afternoon, we went up to the library and we blew up the corner of the plat so we could put it on there to scale. And that afternoon, we went back in and we sat down and we talked with him about what our plans were going to be. And he said that we needed to, first we had to get it zoned from being residential to mixed. And then after it was, the mixed was done, we had to go to the city and get a building, a business license. And then after that, we could put up our carport. And he told us that there is no permit required to put up a carport if it's put up less than 600 square feet. So we didn't need to have a building permit to do that. That is why we didn't get a building permit, and we asked him if it was in, the zones were in the right place, or the setbacks, and he said there's not a problem. Then he said he wanted us to fill out the amount on it, on the map. We put the amount down on the map, and then he said that when we get the carport dimensions of the information on the carport, because it was a kit, he wanted a copy of that. We gave him, so we went back in another time, and this is the third visit. When we went back in that time, we gave him the information on the carport, and Scott went and got the file that he had on our property, and he came out and he opened it up. He took a copy of the map that Rich had drawn the first carport in, and Rich drew another carport in, and he said he had no problem with any of the setbacks. We did not know that. This totally took me by surprise when I got this letter from her, because I was like totally off guard. We were following Scott's instructions to the letter. When she said that I never mentioned anything about the carport, I didn't realize that she didn't have the information, that Scott didn't relay all that kind of stuff to her.
Do you have that in writing from Scott?
The
things that you mentioned that he provided you?
all I have from Scott is just his business card. And I have the, just a second.
Well, what was the date that they originally got this 6-month deal?
Well, we did.
We didn't, I know, but what, I remember doing it, but I don't remember exactly when.
So it's probably about 7 months.
Over a year now.
I was thinking, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is it was
June or July
over
of 15.
Yeah, it was 6 months prior, so it would have been June or July.
in July of 15.
15. It's not 6 months.
And that's-
It's been a year.
Yes.
No, it started in June, and it would have expired in the winter. And then we brought it through to when I saw the violation and went from there. I'll let her,
We're talking about a 6-month window, we're actually talking about a 12-month.
yeah.
So you've actually had a 12 months to get the business up and running then?
Well, after I didn't, like I said, I didn't realize that I was on a time limit of 6 months after I got that. After she said, congratulations, you've gotten your business permit. I didn't read it and see that it said 6 months because we live in Sturgis. And the reason we're doing this is going to become our retirement home. This is a retirement investment because, one, you guys have beautiful, warm weather. It's a nice area, it's a slow pace, and if you enjoy fishing, you can do all of that here. And you don't have a lot of snow. Those are the reasons why we're looking at coming down here. And so, we're trying to make an investment to get our business up and going so that we have some sort of income coming in and established when we get ready to move here. That's why I'm putting all of this effort into this, because if we thought we were going to have this kind of problems, we don't receive any benefit from doing this, you know?
If you're starting a business, hopefully you would receive a benefit from doing this.
Oh yes, that's exactly. That's my point exactly.
You were issued a use permit on review, but you did not actually read your permit when we gave it to you. Because it should state the 6-month window to be operable on that permit.
It does, after, it was winter time, so that's why we didn't, when Scott said that we could build our permit, or our carport after we got the business license, it was winter time, so we didn't even think of it, and we just put it aside until April.
I believe Scott's termination, or just change of employment with the city was in the late winter of 15. And so this whole process was really facilitated by Kim, and not having any reference of the carport certainly put us back when we see it constructed. That said, one other question. Have you received your South Dakota sales tax license for your business yet?
Yes, I have that.
Okay, would you be able to provide that to the council? If no decision's made today, at least have that as part of the file, that showing you are developing a business on that site.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
Do you do this service in Sturgis too?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You had made a comment that you've never worked with a city and you aren't familiar with the way city policies are, but you do have one up and going in Sturgis, so you would have had to work with the city in Sturgis for the same.
Yeah, but not in this capacity, not like I'm trying to open up a business in an area that was a residential area. I've never done that. I don't have any idea how the procedure works with that.
Is your business right in downtown, or where is it?
950 Main Street.
Kim, does she still have to move the building? Does she still need to move this structure she's put up?
I believe so, because it does not meet the setbacks required, and it was built without permits. And I do want to say that the building code has not changed from the time that she's stating that she worked with Scott. Now, I have searched every computer file, paper file, 4 different file cabinets. I've not been able to find any history on this, which is very unlike Scott, because he was really good at writing things down, especially his later years here. He was really, really good at maintaining files. So I've been having real frustration trying to establish that nexus. But that being said, she had stated that she's been working with Scott since 2013 and 2014. During that time, the 2012 building code has been followed, and with that, it's any structure, which would be a carport, and this carport would meet those definitions. Any structure under 200 square feet, which is quite a bit smaller, does not need a permit. And it doesn't excuse, and that's for a residential, it doesn't excuse any requirement for a commercial property. So, and this is a commercial property. So those are the things that I have the issue with.
Can I ask you, aren't there 3 buildings total in that area?
Yes.
Okay, and the pad is behind the one building. How did you plan to use that pad?
That pad was existing, and that's why we wanted to put the carport over top of that existing pad.
But it's not, it's on the side of it.
No, it's not. Carport is on top of the existing pad.
There's another pad then on the back behind that one building?
Yes.
So what were you going to do with that?
With what?
The pad that's there behind the one little building?
Okay, the cement pad that is there, the one that doesn't have anything on it?
Right.
I don't know. We don't really have any plan for it. It was, because when we were designing where we wanted to put the carport, it is over top of an existing cement pad.
Okay.
So the other pad is just there. That was there when we bought the property as well.
Okay.
And as far as the setbacks go, there is an ordinance that says unmixed, it's under the 1144, and it says on there that there's 25 feet setback off of the side street unmixed. Just a second, I'll dig it out.
I guess the bottom line is, what do you want us to do?
Well,
What are you asking?
In terms of the,
What do you want?
well, I would like it to be interpreted, okay. just a second here. That I would like this to be followed according to the way Scott gave us instructions. He gave us the instructions and we were following his instructions to the letter. When we followed his instructions, I did not anticipate this. This caught me off guard, totally caught me off guard when we did this. Granted, I didn't see and notice that it was on the 6 month on the use permit, but I honestly thought when I got granted that sign permit that we were given permission to build our carport, is what I was under the impression. And I thought we were using it as we were supposed to be using our carport, or building our carport. And then finding out that it's not, and I was supposed to have a permit, that caught me off guard, totally caught me off guard.
What are you using the carport for?
Okay, when we are, in order to fix a rock chip, you have, or I shouldn't say chip, I should say crack, you can't have your vehicle out in the sun, because when the sun is hitting the window, it will harden your solution, so you can't get the crack to fill. So when someone has a crack, I'll have to have them come in to the carport so I can protect it from the sun and I can fill the crack on the windshield. That's why I need the carport.
How much business have you actually done out of this, where you're at this location?
In Hot Springs?
Right.
I haven't even set up a sign yet. I haven't done anything yet.
When is your sign due to be delivered?
I have it on order and it should be sometime, they anticipated it should be like the 3rd week of August or the 4th week of August. So it may be the first part of September I can have it delivered or installed.
I guess the way I look at this is you've had a year now since this all started, and my recommendation is that we go along with Kim's recommendation on this and ordinances. I make a motion to that effect.
I'll second it.
Do we still have an opportunity for discussion?
Yes, now you do, yeah. Based on that motion.
Do you want mine?
Batteries go?
It shows it's on.
It should be working.
Hi, Lori.
Hi.
We need a moment to take a breath.
Yes, I do. I'm very upset.
Well, then I'll say first to the council that Lori's statement about Scott's representation to her that any structure under 600 square feet did not need a building permit is the same thing that he told my wife and I over 3 years ago when we wanted to put up a garage. The garage isn't there because of that reason. So that is a consistent statement. She's not the only one to have heard that. My questions are along the line that Tim is referring to. I wasn't on the council when you first approached them about your proposal. I was in the audience. The sense that I got is you were hoping to start soon. You had asked to speak to the council last time we had a meeting. So prior to that, I drove out to the property to see the buildings that Kim was talking about. And the new metal structure seemed to be storage more than in preparation for a building. So my question to you would be, what happened? Why did it take that long? And the RV that's there, it just seemed like it became space to store things rather than a business.
Well, we ended up having some personal issues in our home that caused us to have to put things on hold. And then it became winter, and then things didn't work out for us as well as we had hoped. So that's why it didn't happen in the speed that we were hoping it was going to happen in.
Okay. So one of the two conditions that Kim had given you, cease the use of the RV on the site immediately. That's been taken care of. The remaining issue then is the metal structure. That would need to be moved according to ordinances. What's your feeling on that?
Well, okay, on the street setback is what she's saying is why I have to move it is because it's on the street setback. That is not a street, that is a driveway. because if it was a street, there would be a 911 address on it. The people that are on that area are on Sherman Street. There is no street on that. That is a driveway, is what that is. And if you read that interpretation, when you read it in the ordinances, it says the property is to be, the setback is 25 feet from the front and 10 feet from the back. It doesn't say anything about being on the side. So that is an interpretation that if you were going to check it out and look at it, that would be one of the things. And then the mixed zone use says 25 feet from the property, from the, I think it's a side. It's something as far as the street goes. And if it's 25 feet, the building is in with that building envelope. It is within the setbacks if it's in that 25 feet.
So if the council were to decide to give you an extension to remove the metal structure and have it in compliance with city code, any sense of how long it would take you to do that, when you would be ready to meet the requirements of the permit that was granted to you over a year ago?
I can't answer that at this point in time. My husband would have to be the one that would be able to give the answer to that, because we have a business that we run in Sturgis, and now that we're almost to the end of summer, it may end up being, I don't know how soon it would be. I can't tell you.
My concern is the property just doesn't look like you've done anything to prepare it for, use as a business. So, thank you. Kim, do you agree with her assessment of Alley Street, whatever?
Actually, I'd be very cautious of that, because whenever we had the public hearings and the use permit review, it was contended that it was a street, so we could have commercial access off of it. If it's a driveway that's used by residential, then I have a real concern. Whenever we had gone through the use permit, I had actually proposed that we have the entrance off of what would be Pacific. That's the same road that goes up to the log cabins. That way we would be able to separate that commercial use from our residential people that own their houses right across the street from where this is. So if we would go down that road, and I'll look at that, I would really caution that we want to make sure that the entrance then is on a street and not on a residential driveway.
Thanks, Kim. I do remember the specifics, and I do remember talking to the people, the residents of that area, and they were supportive of you trying it. I don't know, have you had any contact with those people lately that object to any of this or not?
No.
Lori? Hi.
Hi.
I remember back then that there was an issue with the neighbors. They thought that there'd be a lot of traffic, and you said that probably not, because you could just go out and do
Mobile, right.
at their residence or anywhere, really. And so I'm a little baffled as to why, what the holdup.
The carport is needed because of having a crack. If someone has a crack, they're going to have to come over there so I can fix their crack.
I see.
That would be the only reason they would, because I was also granted that I could fix them on site too. So that would be the only reason I would fix them there, would be because there is a reason to have them come to the
It'd be more than a chip or something.
Right, yeah. It would have to be a lot more than a chip in order to use the carport.
I am concerned because of all the different vehicles that could be in that spot. There isn't a lot of room because there's 3 buildings in there now.
Well, that was already.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there isn't a lot of space
I have
for
a
that.
motion in a second.
Mhm.
Try to move this forward a little bit.
Pardon me, what's the motion?
To accept what Kim Barbieri provided to Ms. Simeon.
And follow her instructions.
Yes, which one of those items has already been taken care of, the other, so basically we're primarily talking about removing the new metal structure from the site and having to be compliant with our setback. So, do you agree with, that's what you made a motion in a second to?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll,
I want to understand.
So then-
Is that,
I'm not saying that she can't have her business there, it's just that she's got to comply with what the regulations say. I'm not saying you can't have a business, I'm just saying we've got to go with what Kim is enforcing as our rules and regulations.
Kim also mentions that it does require a permit based on our current. All right, Chris.
so my question to the experts then is, how do I amend that we give her an additional 3 months to bring the site into
Well,
compliance?
Bob,
We have to vote on this.
Well,
Maybe,
you
sir?
could interject with a substitute motion.
well, I have to make sure that they're okay with that. 'Cause
Well,
they want to take a vote on what they
You
made
propose
motion.
a substitute motion, and then if there's a second to that substitute motion, you would then vote on what's being substituted.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure 3 months would even be, it would even be receptive if she didn't say she had any sort of idea of when it could be or even possibly be up and running. So by amending the motion, I'm not sure, amending the motion, I'm not sure that would be effective.
I guess my feeling is that it was a 6 months on review and it's already been over a year. So, I mean, even 3 months till it freezes over, but I guess that's my feeling is, it's already went long past 6 months, so they've had plenty of time. And like I say, all I want them to do is bring it up to what the standards are supposed to be. We're not saying you can't have a business there.
So to clarify though, by pursuing this course of action as proposed, Tim, her current permit would be voided, she'd have to reapply for a use permit on review.
Yep. She can reapply.
So if I reapply, do I have to go through the hassle of having everybody come in again?
Yeah, it'd be another hearing process, yes.
Yep.
We can just disregard this because I'm not going to do that again.
I understand what you're saying, Tim. And my intent was, she's not sure how long it's going to take, but at least give her 3 more months. If that puts a deadline on them, they either get it done or they don't. And we've taken that extra step to try to help take care of the confusion and the misunderstanding of what's going on. Again, and I want to say again publicly, my wife and I heard the same statement from Scott that she heard, that anything under 600 square feet does not require a building permit. So to me, there's some misstatements in here, there's some confusion in here, and my feeling is we should give her the opportunity to go back with her husband. If she wants to drop it, she can do that simply by not doing anything, or if they still want to do the business, they can dedicate the next 3 months. That gives them 15 months to come in compliance. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The thing is, right now, is her use on permit view is already expired. Because it was only 6 months, correct, Kim?
She has to start over.
So she has to start over.
The use permit on review allows you to have an expansion of time. If you come forward, let's say at the 6 month point, if she realized that she was behind, she could have come through at that point. If we do what Bob is suggesting and giving the extra 3 months, we do allow in the language of the use permit on review that you can have seasonal businesses, so that you could be, if she gets the sign up, if she gets the building moved, then we go into the winter season, then she can open up in the spring, and that could still meet under the use permit if you wanted to give that extra 3 months. It would be fine with me. My major concern is that the new carport is very close to the residential properties, and I just feel like I need to protect them as well.
One thing to keep in mind, and Bob, you kind of phrased it in a certain way, where the carport was somehow attached through a miscommunication to the business not being started. Those two are entirely separate of each other. The business not starting is not a result of the carport being built where it's at or not being built where it's at. I believe you openly acknowledge you did not understand it to be a 6 month window to get your business operating. And so those
Correct.
two, I believe, are entirely separate of one another.
Just for clarification, the approval letter that she received that stated the 6 months also stated that there were no other structures that were anticipated to be constructed. At that point, I would have hoped if she had read it, then she would have said, hey, wait a minute, no, I talked with Scott about this. But that didn't happen.
I'd like to call for a vote.
Sorry, we have a,
Well, I need to either have a different motion, because the only motion is
well, a
second. I have.
clarification. We have a motion and a second already from Tim's motion. Bob, I believe you're proposing an alternative, an amended motion?
An amended
It's
motion.
not yet been made clearly, there's been no second.
And I have no second on that.
If you'll clarify your motion, I'll second that.
My motion is to amend the original motion to provide her an extension of 3 months to see how dedicated they are to come in compliance with the original use permit. And then they can work it out if they have to move, well, they'll have to move the building. And I'm fine with that. So that's my motion.
I would like to second that, and with that, I'd like to say, don't give up. I understand it's frustrating working with ordinances and creating a new business, especially if you're living in a different location. But I'd like to see you continue to try to comply and put your business in town and get your sign up.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second to extend Kim's request for 3 months, as opposed to, I think it was August 8th or something. So, any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to just do a roll call vote here.
Todd Nelson,
Aye.
Tim Tesher, Georgia Holmes,
No.
Skylar Wetzel. Yes. Kara Hagan.
Yes.
Andrea Kramer.
No.
Krista Spillane.
Yes.
Caroline Schwarzenbach.
Yes.
You have 5 yeses, 3 noes. Motion carried.
Motion carried. You have 3 months.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck to you.
Good luck. Yes, good luck. Thank you, Kim and Lori.
Hey, Lori?
Clarify for anybody looking to start a business or knowing somebody that is planning to start a business. Talk with the city first. Oftentimes, you don't have to get too involved, but if you talk to us first, we can certainly avoid things like this. I know it can be challenging, but that said, we're paid to help you navigate through it, and if we can't do it, we'll point you to Shedco or the chamber or the state that can help you with it. So we're here to help, and by all means, we like doing it before rather than after. It's a lot easier for us to help in the process as opposed to following up after things are done.
All right, thank you, Nolan, for the clarification or the additional information. I'm going to move on to personnel. We historically,
I'd like to make a motion that we combine A through F
all right,
and table G until after our executive session.
okay, so I have a motion and a second to combine A through F and table G. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving to the committee reports, first of all, I want to notify the council that Caroline Schwarzenbach will be taking over as the chairperson for the admin and finance. So this is George's last, at least for now, update to us. Thank you, Caroline, for accepting.
And there is none.
What's that?
There is nothing to report. We did not have a meeting this last week.
So Caroline, can you let us know when your first meeting will be?
A week from today at 1 o'clock at City Hall.
Okay. And again, thank you both for supporting that committee. I appreciate it. It's a very important one. Georgia still gets to report on the Airport Advisory Committee. There's an agenda item that's very important that she's been working on. I'll let her give you an update on that.
We did meet on 7/29, and there were a few things that were discussed because basically the meeting was first called and then not called and whatever. Anyway, but there's a few things that were important. The runway one, the lights had some issues, and Shamanic was called and they we're checking on those errors or problems. And they're looking at, Rapid City Airport has a snowplow possibly that we would be able to get. I did have some information for everyone that I'll try and give a copy in everybody's file. The seaplane made 84 takeoffs and 84 landings in this between 6:10 of 16 and 7:24 of 16. And that's 168 combined for fire. There were 14 individual fires that they were taking care of. So I mean, they're very, very thankful that we have the ability. They have the ability to use our airport to prevent our fires from taking off, and they have a lot of good response from everyone in this area. There's also some comments that the airport has received email thank yous and pluses about the airport out here, and I will give everyone a copy of that also. They range from thanking us for a fuel stop, for how great our weather is, our manager, how friendly he was, many things that we don't hear normally. So that was one thing. They did talk about salaries a little bit. We did do the budget hearing this last week. One of the things that they asked about, is there any on-call benefits to their manager? And at this time we do not. If he puts in for it, I guess he gets paid. Then
overtime?
Just callbacks, yeah, anytime that he's called back, because he is basically on call all the time. They do have some system, they can have someone come and unlock, I guess, I don't know. It's not as efficient as I'd like to see. It needs to be written up.
I'm gonna do better understanding
Yeah,
that.
they did have some fly-ins for the bikers, and they are enthused about our airport, and they would like to have places to park their motorhomes until they pick them up and all that, but I think we can take care of them in town here with our transportation that is provided at the airport. That was all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Look forward to the agenda item. Is that done? Andrea, I don't think you meet for a while, right? Next month? Okay. Caroline, you probably haven't had your meeting yet.
We meet Wednesday at the library at 5 o'clock. We hope you'll come. Thank you.
Thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory Committee, Kara?
We had a meeting last Thursday, July 21st, and we, I'm going to save the best for last. We had talked about the ADA indoor pool access. We had a really nice presentation from Steve Winia. For those who don't know, we've really done
Could you talk more in your mic for the
We've
audience?
really done a lot of research into an ADA lift, and with the height of the water to the top of the walkway around it, it's almost impossible to even check custom lifts to meet that criteria needed for a lift. So Steve Winia has been on the advisory committee since before I've been involved, since the city bought it. Drew a plan up that was a really encouraging plan. I really liked what I saw, and I'm waiting for him to get together with Kim Barbieri, and I think the EPAC committee was all in favor of this diagram and this presentation that Steve Winia had, and we're looking forward to getting the report from Kim and Steve's collaboration on that. Hot shower review. This has been ongoing too. The consensus is we'd really like to make this happen. I think we have a new guesstimate from a local contractor around $7,000 to $8,000. However, there's so many more valuable priorities than the hot shower is valuable, and that ADA lift is number one, or the ADA pool access. And we have some peeling paint from the ceiling we need to address this year. And to spruce up the pool area as well, we really need to take care of those things. Those are the high priority, and we'd like to probably look at this again in maybe 2018-19. We discussed the expansion of VA dom rates to VA transitional rates for individuals. We discussed DSS foster care requests for passes. The public comment I wanted to talk about is one that has been coming up here for a few weeks. It's the cleanliness of the bathrooms, and I have to say I agree. I keep getting reports, and I know it's hard sometimes to find staffing, and I've talked to Chris and Nolan both about this, and it's been very difficult to find staffing. I know Chris has come in herself and been in there at 6 in the morning, probably 5:30, 6 in the morning, to scrub the bathrooms. However, I'm making a recommendation that at this point we've got to get this taken care of, that we maybe get a city worker in there because we do own it. I think the cleanliness of the plunge is top priority, and this is something that I would like to see addressed however we can address. And I've given Nolan a name. I know there's another council person that gave Nolan a couple names, so maybe we can find somebody to fill that, but in the interim, I'd like to see it taken care of immediately. Yes. And September 15th is the next meeting.
Thank you, Kara. Parks, Recreation, Beautification, and Cultural Development. Krista.
Yes, I'm just looking to see when my next meeting is. We had the Parks meeting this morning at 3 o'clock, and we had the Parks meeting at 3 o'clock at City Hall, and we reviewed the 2017 Parks budget. And we also talked about the utility box painting project. It's something that we're looking into with maybe help from the high school kids. The school stairs painting project, again, that's another thing we're looking into, also involving perhaps the high school kids or the kids that are involved in the art at the high school. Parks update, the soccer starting today. And the painting at Butler is ongoing. We're looking for volunteers for that too. We're doing the dugouts. We're going to do it in a little bit more appeasing color. I believe it's going to be a light or dark brown with a light trim. Is that right? Instead of the blue, the light blue. We're also doing the inside of the dugouts also. We're going to be starting the tree mulching. So we're looking for volunteers for that also. If anybody, we're looking for volunteers, period, to help.
Krista, when were you planning, are there dates, or are you just kind of giving people a heads
Well,
up?
on the tree mulching, we're looking at the week of the 19th to the 23rd.
Tree planting,
Oh,
the tree planting.
and
No,
then
I'm talking about what you're looking for volunteers for. When do you actually, so they can, if they're
anytime
available.
for the painting of the dugouts. If you'll just get a hold of Nolan, he can make sure you get the paint, and so anytime.
Oh, okay.
Just give him a call, and we'll take your volunteer seriously. We'll get you set up. And as far as the tree mulching, we're going to be planting the trees the 19th through the 23rd, we hope, depending on, that's kind of still up in the air, but then they'll be mulching around the trees.
And where are you planting those?
It's Centennial.
Part of the grant.
Okay. And then,
I just want you to share that
oh,
information.
well, thank you.
I'm feeding questions to you.
And then the Brookside bathrooms will be starting for August with the pouring of the pad and leveling it out. And so that's pretty much what we talked about at the parks. As far as the Mueller Center, this week there isn't a whole lot going on. There's a solar car challenge though coming Saturday the 6th at 6 p.m. So that's all I have.
Great.
I got a question. I had a gentleman call me today and ask me if there was any drawings or plans for the bathroom that's being built at Brookside.
Yeah, we had that question at our parks meeting also, and Nolan brought it up on the overhead and kind of explained that.
Come in and view it, or do they want
Well, he just asked, actually he told me that he brought it up at the parks and there was no plans. So I'm just passing on, I was asked if there was any
Come to City
specific.
Hall, we'll walk through it again. We went over it 3 times now. I'd be happy to provide more detail. No, there's not a 2-inch drawing of what we're proposing, but yes, there is a plan. We worked with the contractors, our guys, the material provider, all of that on to get a good idea as to this next steps to get it constructed. We're not building a amphitheater in Centennial Park, that scale of a project. This is a block bathroom like you've seen in other places throughout town. It's not quite as intricate as I think you're expecting us to get with it.
Is that a contractor building that or is it a?
The block masonry we have a contractor for, the pouring of the pad a contractor, the plumbing and the prep work, and then the installation and also the carpentry is in-house.
Okay. Thank you.
And our next parks meeting is at 3 o'clock on September the 5th.
Did you get proposals on all those, Nolan?
On
Did you- all the aspects
Yes,
of
we
building the
did.
bathroom?
We only were able to reach a few people though, unfortunately.
Okay.
We are trying to get as many people involved as want to be involved.
And we're doing as much in-house as we can.
That's good.
That's what
There's
you
already
see happening this
started.
week, is a lot of in-house activity.
Yeah, so it's actually very exciting news because a lot of people have really wanted a bathroom at Brookside. So for this to be moving forward is pretty
Don't get me
exciting.
wrong, I
Don't
walk the
sprinkler
Freedom
system.
Trail, so I'm happy there's gonna be a bathroom there.
Okay. Should we name it after
You're getting your bath?
You can if you want to.
Mayor Donnell, could I please add one more thing for Ms. Bunch? It's like the highlight. I can't believe I forgot to mention it.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If you're finished?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
finished.
good.
Okay, the revenue is 181,768.69 for the month of July. And our expenses were 69,030.20. That was good news, really good news.
Meaning we're in the black right now, right?
Well,
Ish.
you know, we still have the payment.
Not
We still have the
payment.
payment, and we
Yeah.
still made 8,000 for this year, and we still have the winter months.
We're still going in the right direction.
We're going in the right
and
direction.
revenue is up. And we won't sugarcoat it, but it is good news and it is going in the right direction. Thank you. Kim's already spoken with us tonight. Item H, public safety, Tim.
I've got these really nice minutes that somebody wrote. You believe that's my handwriting?
No, it's like a girl's.
Yes. I had to have, I was the only one at the meeting and there was some stuff being discussed that I wanted somebody else there with me, so I conned Misty into sitting with me and I
I'm glad I was a
appreciate
girl
that.
after I said that.
Appreciate that very much.
It's very
Basically,
beautiful handwriting.
yeah, I can actually read this and I don't have to guess. What we had one person come into the safety meeting and it was basically to get some ordinances straightened out as to some of the, where the city is involved and where they're not, considered an electricity issue between her and her landlord. And that was pretty much the whole meeting. We were able to get some further places for this lady to go to get information and to possibly maybe get some help with taking care of her problem. How was that?
And I would like to also announce that Bob will be joining Tim with that committee on public safety as well as public works. He's a newbie, as he calls himself, and really isn't ready to be head of a committee yet. And both of these are requires an experience, so I appreciate him joining the committee. We like to have 2 on public safety and public works. Tim's going to continue as the chairperson for both. I'll let him do public works, but wanted to know that Bob Nelson's on the team as well.
Thank you.
Good, yeah, thank you.
Public Works.
Yeah, that looks like your handwriting.
Yeah, can you cipher this out?
No.
Actually, we had a gentleman from Bros Engineering come in and talk to us about the bridge down here that goes over to the fire department. And we've kind of the bridge is in bad shape and it needs to be replaced. Bros does we're mandated by law to have these bridges checked at least every 2 years. And this one here needs complete redone, needs to be torn out and rebuilt. Basically where we're at with that is right now we're starting with the help of Bros. We're going to start some of our steps we need to be done for going in for grants for this. It's possible that if we get stuff done the way we're looking for it, we'll be able to submit grant applications by January 1. So we're hopefully to get all that, but right now we're just working on, with every grant application, there's all sorts of preliminary little stuff that nobody understands but the engineer, but somebody that with the money's got to give the yes or no. So Fall River Users District came in, we have a contract with them right now. It's not actually up till 2020, but they want us to start looking at some changes to their contract due to their vast expansion, why they're looking at us a little heavier again than what they were before. So we'll be looking into that. Give us plenty of time, but it's better than waiting until the day before it runs out and then try to do something with it. We discussed wood chipping options. We've got 2 different ones that we're looking into. There was actually a new one that Nolan had received just within a couple of days of the meeting. He was going to do some further checking into that, and we'll get into that a little further. The loading dock is done, all but the concrete. We're going to go ahead with the cement and concrete drive. There's not a whole lot of difference between concrete and asphalt, but the longevity time is a lot different. Also, we discussed the Fall River Water Jail, their Fall River County Jail. I believe that's on the...
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we'll discuss that further. Project updates. Boulder Falls is, all the points are located, and we're possibly going to go out for bids in September. And we just
Boulder Falls Road.
Boulder Falls Highway, Boulder Falls streets. And they've started working on putting in the new water meters, and we did discuss the bathroom at Brookside a little bit, so that was it.
Good job reading your notes.
Shorthand.
And thank you. It's a lot of work I know you're doing. Appreciate it. Southern Hills Golf Course in Georgia.
Yeah.
Has been running this for a long, long time, and I'll just announce now that Skylar Wetzel will be taking the chair position for that committee going forward. But she wasn't at the last meeting, so I'm going to let Georgia report, and we'll be updating our agendas with Skylar's name going forward.
We did meet on Friday at 4, and so here's some of the things that we came to. It wasn't a full committee meeting, so I asked Jason if he wouldn't mind writing a mission statement for Southern Hills Golf Course, and also some rules, and because some of the issues that have come up are speaking to both of these, and then the committee would be the ones to come up with them and present them to the council. Some of the things that happened were due to safety issues on the road going around the golf course, and so these things that have to be taken care of, basically Jason is doing a lot of the patrol or whatever to solve them, and I think some things need to be looked at in that regards, and the committee can help him with that. So Skylar, I will help you.
Yeah, so I was going to say, please help her with that
And
transition and history.
it's important for them to know, how much the committee expects Jason to do. I mean, is this going to be a super golf course, or however they decide? But some of those issues need to be discussed with the committee. And Skylar's got a good handle on a lot of that stuff because she is familiar with it.
Right. Skylar's our golfer.
Yeah.
We were happy to get her on board here. Is there anything else?
No, that's all. Next meeting will be August 26th at 5 at the clubhouse.
Did you want to add anything? Or just getting warmed up? Okay. I just wanted to really thank Georgia. With her being the council president, I've asked other people to take over a couple of committees. She was doing 3 and
5 at one time.
yeah, and there are more responsibilities with being the council president, so I really want you to know I appreciate
Thanks.
all that you've done over the years and keeping those committees moving along very nicely, and appreciate you taking the president position, and you'll still be the chair of the airport, which is a busy place.
Yeah,
That few people know about, but we do have a very busy airport, and so thank you, Skylar. I'll move on to volunteer fire department meeting next week.
Next week, Tuesday at 7 o'clock at the fire hall.
Okay, and again, we've had a lot of fires. I don't know who set off the whistle at 2 in the morning last night, but don't do that anymore, be careful. And I'll be asking Misty and Nolan to add another committee. Those of you who've been around it for a while, it's in my mind a Delta committee, which was a discussion during our budget hearings about possible year-round use or repurposing of the depot building. And Carol Ann Schwarzenbach and Kara Hagan have offered to be on that committee, as well as myself. And anyone else who is interested in that, but this was a request out of budget hearings, and so I'm going to be adding a committee until we have a recommendation. So thank you both for stepping up and proposing to help with that, and we'll figure out a time for our first meeting. All right, I'll get that going. So again, I really want to thank the council. I know they do these quick reports on these committee reports, but there's a lot of work behind everything that they say, and I really want you all to know that I do appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you in your new committees or supporting committees. I'm going to move on to resolutions. Resolution 2016-12, a resolution to support the City of Hot Springs 2016 Land and Water Conservation Grant application. You have the information.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I think Kara was, quiet Kara at the end was. Do we have any discussion on this? I think you agreed before. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Ordinances. I require a roll call vote for the second reading of Ordinance 1166, Supplemental Appropriation Ordinance.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Misty?
Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Tim Tesher,
Yes.
Georgia Holmes,
Yes.
Skylar Wetzel,
Yes.
Kara Hagan. Yes. Andrea Kramer. Yes. Krista Spillane,
Yes.
Carol Ann Schwarzenbach.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carried. New business, discussion and possible motion to approve airport hangar construction guidelines. They're in your packet?
Yeah.
I need a motion first.
I'll make a motion to approve these guidelines.
Second it.
Discussion.
This has already been approved, what are we voting on it for?
The rates have been approved. What that does is
This-
outlines, it establishes the current rates, but the new item on there is basically covenants for the hangar design.
Right.
Well, it's right on the top of this piece of paper. It says developed by Airport Advisory Committee on June 15th and approved by the Common Council on August 8th, 2016.
No, it says August 1st.
August 1st,
That's today.
that's today.
They're
So
on
it's
the list.
already been done.
There are,
To be specific, the master plan.
we
you
can
can
change the
go-
date if you don't approve it.
You can look online for the city departments under airport, and then these are the guidelines for construction of new hangars if you decide to build.
I had one question. I don't know who wrote this. What is the first purpose, the first paragraph? It says deviation, approval of the Airport Advisory Committee and potentially the common council? Why is it potentially?
Because it hasn't been voted on yet.
Pardon?
Well, would that word change if this is approved by the county?
Yeah, probably would.
I think you take it out when we were voting on it.
Okay. Did you hear that? No?
Yeah, so you want to strike the...
Potentially.
Potentially.
Okay.
Okay, with that one change, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried with modification. New business, item B, discussion and possible motion to forgive Fall River County Jail water misread with Fall River County performing plumbing for a new meter replacement to be completed on September 9th, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Well, I had some, but I talked to Noah and he explained to me, so no, I don't have anything.
It's a good question, so if anybody wants to ask or it's not clear, feel free. Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item C, discussion and possible motion to go for bid for Boulder Falls Subdivision Street Improvement Project.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Does Skylar need to abstain?
I'd recommend.
Probably.
It's her decision though to make, but I'd recommend.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I haven't voted yet, but
Who's
I
second?
just wanted you to know, since you're new, to think about that one.
Karen?
I was going to say Kara.
I saw a lot.
Okay. I thought you had, but.
So Kara can vote, Skylar can decide whether she wants to or not. So all in favor?
Do we get discussion?
Or, yeah, we're discussing. Sure.
Proposing different timelines, fall construction, split construction, or a spring construction.
Basically, what we're doing there is if we bid it in September, the possibility of them getting it all done yet this fall there is that possibility. But we can bid it 3 different ways. We can bid it that they have to do it all this fall. We can bid it that they do what they can as weather permits and then finish it by March or April or whatever in the spring, or that they start in the spring and finish it then.
Yeah.
And that's the 3 deals that we're looking at.
And I remember discussing that, at the meeting. I'm just wondering if the motion is to recommend one of those. My thought being that, because you're going to, okay. No.
I guess the way I made the motion is that we would go ahead and present a bid giving all 3 options.
Okay.
So we would have, then we could make the decision as to when we want the job done, for sure.
And with this right now, we're really at the mercy of the lender, Rural Development, as they review our materials. And so we're on their timeline. What this is allowing the city to do is when they're ready, we can be ready with that bid. And depending where we're at in the council agenda and the meeting schedule, we can either go to bid immediately or have the language go through the council once more. We're trying to get it done as soon as possible, but us not being in the driver's seat right now, we can't do a whole lot until Rural Development approves our pre-loan application, and then we can finalize bid language and go to bid, giving the city the most options to choose from, whether it's split, fall, or possibly an entire spring construction.
And Tracy, our city engineer, prefers it written this way as well. We talked to him about it today. Thanks, good question. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And I'll abstain.
Motion carried, thank you. Item D, discussion and possible motion to set bid opening for Boulder Falls Subdivision Street Improvement Project for September 13th at 2 p.m. at City Hall.
But before a motion's made on that, I should clarify, knowing that Rural Development is in the driver's seat reviewing our materials, this timeline to get set up does not necessarily is a guarantee. So without having the actual bid language put together for you tonight, I'd recommend this be tabled until we can finalize that schedule. I hate to go advertise, not be able to make this deadline because something out of our hands. and then have to do it over again, publication cost, and spend your time going through these motions. So our schedule right now with rural development is working on this on our behalf for a pre-loan application. I would recommend tabling for the night. We'll pick it up again on the 15th.
I'll make that motion that we table this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have tabled item D. Misty, Finance Officer Report.
First meeting of the month, you all have in your council packets financial reports through July 28th. There were 3 more reporting days for July that are not reflected in your reports due to timing, but are available now at City Hall if you're interested in updated figures. Same as before, hopefully you like these reports that you're seeing, the year-to-date profit and loss summary, fund summary report showing budget versus actual for revenue and expenses, so you can see how we're doing compared to our plan, and the cash balance report. Kara mentioned earlier, on a positive note, the plunge cash balance report was a positive figure. Again, if you ever have any specific questions or concerns about any of these reports or any of the numbers you see, please contact me. There are more detailed reports available. I try to keep it informative but shorter so as not to overwhelm you with numbers, but there are more numbers available if anyone's ever interested in seeing those. We're rounding the corner in the second half of the year, so more detailed reports on expenditures and revenues by object and department are available at City Hall. They're very thick reports, so I don't put them in your council packets. But as we get closer to the end of the year, I would recommend that you take some time to look through those. We spoke a little bit at the last meeting about different checking accounts for our primary or main operating account. We will be discussing my findings in detail at the upcoming admin finance meeting on Monday. If you're unable to attend but are interested in my comparisons, please let me know. I'd be happy to share those with you. After getting the proposals from the 3 local banks in town, I'm no longer recommending we switch based on the proposals we received, and I'd be happy to share with you the information I obtained. And again, we'll be talking about it in detail at the upcoming admin finance meeting. We'll also be visiting with our audit firm as they go through a letter to the governing body explaining their objectives in our 2015 audit, which they're working on currently. A letter to the governance will be provided to all council members after the call, reviewing the same information. So if you're not available to make it to the meeting, that's fine. You'll get the detailed letter from the auditor kind of going over what they do. And I just wanted to thank each of you for all the extra hours we all put in last week to go through and finalize our budget for the 2017 calendar year. Those are long meetings, but very important, and I respect and appreciate each of you, the time that you took and the care and attention you paid to that matter. I appreciate it. We are then in our finance office now working on the appropriation ordinance for next year, so we'll be having that for the first meeting in September. I did get the safety benefit recommendations from our property evaluations and shared those with each department head today. We have 60 days to respond to that, so more on that in the future. And we're also working on some propane pre-buy bids for next year, so we've got 4 of the 6 waiting on the last 2, and you'll hear more about that probably at admin finance also. Thank you.
Thank you, Misty. Nolan, do you have an update for us?
Sure. I believe you guys should have gotten maybe 1, possibly 2 emails from me today, so I'll keep mine brief, as you already have some good information in your inbox. For the public though, and also for the council, thank you for your time all last week, and before that also for those making donation requests and helping us get our 2017 budget set up. You know, a lot of uncertainty about Hot Springs stemmed from us not having a hard figure when people asked, where are you at financially? Us knowing that now helps us plan for next year, and then talking with, mentioning what Tim said about the Jennings Bridge, further down the road to capital outlay projects, these big multi-million-dollar expenditures, we can now understand when they're actually going to fit into our budget and come to reality in our city. So thank you to the public, thank you also to you all for the long nights that you guys put in to get 2017 shaped up, so thank you again. With that, Hot Springs, we are hiring as a city. We have multiple part-time positions available. In fact, we have so many part-time positions available. If you're ambitious and busy and available, we can get you a 40-hour work week one way or another in different departments. So we have Evans Plunge, certainly a custodian position, actually multiple custodian positions there, daytime and third shift. We have Southern Hills Golf Course hiring as well for course labor. We're losing some of our employees back to school or other fall employment. And so please do, check our website, come in, pick up an application. We'd be happy to entertain any applicant. Question?
Not a question, but a comment, if I may be permitted. As a member of the public who attended the budget hearings last week, I'd really like to thank Nolan for the coordination and the hard work in making everything go so smoothly. Thank you, Nolan.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I'd second that.
Yeah, and Misty as well. Thank
Yes.
you guys so
Yeah.
much. This is a very well-prepared budget.
Went very smoothly.
Always appreciate hearing that. Here's hoping 2017 goes just as smooth as that we planned.
Or will expect more.
I meant the whole year of 2017 goes that smoothly. With that, again, just a reminder, we are hiring. We are entertaining all applicants. We certainly need help. We say volunteer, but we'll actually pay you for some of this work that we're asking you to do. So please do apply if you're interested, or if you're not, but know somebody that is, send them our way. We're always looking for good talent. With that.
Thank you, Nolan. I'm going to expand on the budget hearing comments. I absolutely agree. They went very well. I'm very pleased at the council working well together at a difficult time. We do have a lot of large projects coming up, which makes it difficult to be generous. And so we had to focus on needs more than once. I also wanted to thank all the city department heads. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to make it run so smoothly in front of the public. And all the department heads worked very well with Misty and Nolan. They're not all cheery about it, but they do understand that we do try to, as best we can, to have a balanced budget and work with priorities and needs. And I want to really thank Misty and Nolan for pulling them all together and making that so smooth. It was great. The other thing I need to let you all know is you need to bring your blue South Dakota Municipal League notebooks and to Mary their updates that she needs to provide to you in different sections. So you all have homework to bring your blue notebooks into City Hall. All right? I also want to let you all know that Lori will be joining us in executive session. And again, thank you all for being prepared for this meeting and having a smooth meeting. And I would like someone to make a motion to go into executive session. And there's a possibility if we're going back to item G under personnel after executive session. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very brief break, and I'll put you in.
Okay, it's back on.
Go back to personnel item.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Personnel item G.
I make a motion that we reinstate Lori with the stipulations that were discussed during executive session. Lori knows what they are. Public don't need to know.
No, I think, I'm sorry.
Then
Yeah, that's 5 minutes.
got a motion on it. I make a motion that we reinstate Lori to her.
What would it be just not acceptable?
Yeah.
So you haven't agreed to remove
No.
item G,
Well,
right?
One of you have to say it right.
You have to say it right.
so you
We
agree,
have not agreed to.
you agreed to remove item G and replace it with reassignment to maintenance class 2 operator without the designation of safety coordinator. And that she must comply with what's personnel policy states in the city and any court actions.
I'll go along with that.
And were we gonna add something that after a year, she could apply
It
for
should be
any
known that after
vacancy?
the year period, if she's in good standing and there's a vacancy in the safety coordinator position, she is able to reapply for it for consideration.
I second that. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, any public discussion?
I would just say one thing. This is, I think what we all want for you is a second chance, but there won't be a third. Don't disappoint us, okay? That's all.
Good luck.
We also need, we haven't done a vote yet, so don't. But we also do recognize you still have to go to court. So I want to make sure you all remember that, all right? Okay, so all in favor of what Nolan said, which is not accepting the termination.
Sorry, somebody should phrase that motion, so I'm not in
Yeah,
advance.
yeah, it should be Tim that says it. Just
And
like
I'm not
that.
going to rephrase it. Someone on the council needs to state the motion.
I've read that also it could be Misty or Nolan. That's permissible under parliamentary law. It is okay.
I prefer for this one not to be my name.
You don't want to? Okay.
Well,
Okay,
because.
motion to not accept the termination, but to keep the employment for Lori with the stipulation of the safety coordinator position to be removed and pay reduced, and after a year, possible reconsideration, if available.
That's good.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn? Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?